Welcome to this special episode as requested by you, the subscribers. MrSealyp's top 5 most used mods of FS17. Come along with me, Mr. Sealy P. So as promised, Mr. Sealyp's top 5 most usable mods. Now this is my opinion, this is my top 5 of ones that I've used a lot since they came out on pretty much every Let's Play I could since they came out, for various different reasons, and those reasons I will explain as I go through them. This may come across as relatively underwhelming because I think you're going to look at it and think, well, okay, but there's reasons, and that's why I've used them in most of my Let's Plays. The second one of these, because it's going to be like a two-part thing, the second one is going to be Mr. Sealyp's top 5, possibly top 10 favourite mods, which is a whole different category. So this one, most usable, most used. These are the ones that every time I set up a Let's Play, these are in my checklist. So, in 5th place, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 5 to first, and there were 5 or 6 that didn't quite make the cut. So there are some that are going to go from 5 to 10, but I'll explain those at the end. So, we'll have a look at the various different ones. In 5th place, we have got the universal lightweight bucket, just over here. This is by Toxic Om, and a very, very good mod. I like this a lot because there are loads and loads of bucket mods out there, tons of them. There's the CSZ pack, there's, you name it, there's buckets for front loaders, buckets for wheel loaders, there's the Magsy ones that, there are loads. We're going to be going backwards and forwards in and out the store here. Now, the thing with this is found in the wheel loaders section. There's the Magsy field trigger one, there's all the CSZ ones that all run at about 4,000 litres, 3,500 litres. There's the in-game vanilla Magsy one, which is 6,000 litres, which is pretty good. There's a good capacity, 6,000 litres. And these are wheel loader buckets. And what I was finding was when I was doing silage work and I was trying to scoop silage, especially when I was using conveyor belts, and I was trying to bring silage from the back of the bunker silo to the front to get it onto the conveyor belts, the smaller buckets just weren't doing the job. When this came out, the universal lightweight bucket, this has got an 11,500 litre capacity. That's brilliant. That's big. Now, don't get me wrong, this is console. There are probably bigger buckets on PC, and I'm fully aware that I know from watching a couple of different YouTubers, you can change the XML files and you can make the capacities whatever you want them to be, realistically. But it's only 4,500, which means it's not that expensive either. And I've used that a lot on most of my Let's Plays since that came out. That has been in my bucket list, if you want to call that. Now, the weird thing about it is, although it comes under the wheel loader section, you can use it on the telehandler. Now, obviously, that's not your standard telehandler. That's the telescopic swivel loader, but I've got it in telehandler configuration because it comes under telehandlers. So I was finding the wheel loader buckets were bigger, but the wheel loaders were expensive to buy. The telehandlers were cheaper to buy, and because this went on the telehandlers, for me it was a perfect combination. So that's number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list, we have got the fork Kotek with claws. This is my Black Sheep modding, and I was doing a lot of baling work at different times. I was trying to load bales. I was using the Arcusin Auto Stack, the in-game vanilla one. I was using the round bale one and various different things. When it came to manually stacking bales, I wasn't particularly good at it. Then we had a couple of mods come along. We had, and I don't know if I've got it installed, but I'll have a look in baling technology. I think I have. This thing came along. Where is it? I'll find it in a minute. The Quadro Pack V. That stacks 4 bales at a time. So you could go along the field and you could stack your 4 bales. That in itself is a brilliant mod. I haven't used it on a lot of Let's Plays. I've used it on some Let's Plays. So when it came to manually stacking bales, because it was stacking them 4 high, I wanted a set of forks that would do 4 bales, and this does. I found it very stable. I found it didn't glitch. It didn't. Sometimes when you get 4 bales and you put them on forks, they can judder and shake and they fall off or whatever. But because this has the claws, which are retractable, so you pull them out, you put the bales on, you put them forward, it held them in place really, really well. So if ever, whenever on my Let's Plays I've had to deal with bales at all, generally speaking, these are what I've gone with. These will be under, I think, telehandlers as well. There you go, yeah. The Kotek fork with claws. 1,100 to buy. Really, really cheap. And just brilliant. I've found them incredibly handy to use. There are loads and loads of different sets of forks available. Some with claws, some without. Some do 3 stacks, some do 2, some do 4. So, you know, there are loads out there. Me, personally, I got on really, really well with those. I just found they were very user-friendly and very nice to use. So, on to number 3 on our list. Number 3 on our list is this little beauty, the Forage and Chip Silo. This is by BDBSSB. Since this came out, I have used this on every Let's Play I've done, I think, without exception, pretty much. Again, massive reasons for that. I did a lot of work with bales whenever I'm trying to do total mix ration, whenever I'm doing animals, when you're doing all of the animals, and unfortunately on console you've got a 200 bale limit. So once you start getting to a lot of animals, I was finding that the bales just didn't cut it. I didn't have enough to keep them going, and the problem as well then was when I started running seasons, you were limited to when you could go and get grass and hay and straw. You had to wait for the crop to go. When you weren't running seasons, it's not as bad. This little beauty takes forage. This will take grass and hay and straw and wood chips, total mix ration, silage, and it takes 500,000 litres of each. That to me was a no-brainer as soon as it came out, because what I was also doing, as well as having bales, I was having big piles of loose hay, loose grass, loose straw in barns piled up. It takes up a lot of space, and I was finding on certain maps it would go a little bit laggy, it would go a little bit glitchy. So once that came out, that was what I would use. That I will find, not in there, I will find it under placeables. There we go. There are 2 options available. This one here, the Forage and Chip Silo, comes without the front offload bit. So if you're tight for space, you've got a very small place you want to put that in. That one fits a lot better. 500,000 litres. Then that one, well, that one's 15 slots. That one's actually 17. That one comes with the front bit, which is the one I've got here. Our load and unload thing. If you look in there, it's got all the different things that it will take under there. And the other side, we've got our loading up a trailer, feed mixer, wagon, chute, whatever you want to call it. So, you know what? This was a no-brainer. An absolutely brilliant, brilliant bit of kit. Fantastic mod. Came at the right time. It was exactly what I needed. Now, a lot of people just prefer doing bales, don't like doing loose. Again, I will stress, this is my top 5. These are the ones I like using. A lot of people have been asking me what do you consider to be your top 5 most used, your top 5 favourite. This is my top 5. So that's 5, 4, 3. In second place, and this was so closely run. This was a really close run thing. Again, a relatively minor, what you would consider inconsequential, the Justcan 3 points tipper, also by Black Sheep Modding. In my top 5 I've got 3 mods by Black Sheep Modding. Not because I favour them in any way, shape or form, because they're good mods and I've used them a lot. This thing is incredibly versatile. It comes in 3 different types. You've got the standard, you've got actually cage I think, and loading wall, but again we'll have a look. I want to make sure I get it right. So the Justcan 3 points tipper, you can have standard with extension grid, not cage, and with loading wall, and that's 6,650. However, what I do like about it as well is you can have a used version, which brings the price right down. It's a 4,000 litre capacity. It's not huge, but I've used this for, well, you name it. I've used it for feed areas where you get overspill on the back of a tractor. You can go along, this thing will pick up off the ground. I've used it for putting manure in. This works really well with orchards, for putting the manure around the bottoms of the trees. You can put water and then put the manure in. These things have got actually I need to put it on the tractor, I think. Let's put it on tractor and I'll show you. They've got straps. Now there are other versions of these. There are different ones. Let's hook it up. So if I go L1, R1 and then push up on my right stick, you can open and close that rear. And again, the animations are great. It's, I don't know, I've just found it so versatile to use. What I'm going to do is just whiz over here very quickly. And what you can do is drop it down to ground level, like so. And then this will pick up off the floor. So if you're doing feed areas and that kind of thing, it works perfectly. So at the moment I'm just taking this grass off the floor. I think that's all I've done. Right, lift it back up again. Now I can close that grid if I want to. I don't need to, the little door on it. But this will tip into silos and storage, and you can just tip it in a pile on the floor if you want to. I use it for cleaning out, mucking out the animals on the maps where you've got manure that doesn't go into a silo that you have to actually go and muck out yourself. So then from this position, L1 and X, and it tips. It's incredibly versatile. If I whiz round, actually jump out, it does also have straps. I've used this on I think the Valley of the Old Farm. I went out logging and I cut a load of small logs to take home for the fire and piled logs in the back of here and then put the straps over it. I've never actually tried it with a pallet in there. I don't know whether that would work. But here's the other great thing with it, and again, I just think it's absolutely fantastic. If I take it round this side, it will also load from a silo, which is brilliant. Front buckets won't do it, generally speaking, and you can put whatever you want in there. Now I've already put some grass in here, so what I'll do is just press start, and there it goes. Now if you wanted to, if you're very quick on the trigger, you could probably do total mixed ration into it, but that will take everything you want. You take it off wherever you want to go with it, and you tip it out. Like I say, it's used. I use it a lot because of its versatility. A lot of people will use the auto clean things. You know, they'll use the conveyor belt, the pickup conveyor belt. They'll use the Lady Juno. There was the Holoras. It was like a tyre thing that you put on the back of a tractor for cleaning feed areas out. On a lot of maps I've used this. I just think it's brilliant. And I can just tip that out when I want, drive away, and there you go. Incredibly versatile, incredibly useful. And I think since it came out, I can't think of a map I haven't used that on. Just can't think of one. And if you've been watching my Mercury Farms Let's Play so far, I have alluded to this already. My number one slot, and it was very close between 3 Points Tipper and this, the Rayboard Xylor. When this came out, incredible piece of kit. Mulcher, stump grinder, and it came out with a brilliant stump grinder. That looks fantastic. I really like that. But it's so much more. I'm going to put it on the Pouse. The Pouse isn't in that list at the moment, so this is just to show you what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it already, if you've watched my Let's Plays, you will have seen it. If you haven't, let's hook it up. So this thing is incredible because this will grind stumps. So if you've been doing a lot of logging, you've been doing stuff with the Scorpion King or whatever you've been using, and you've got stumps in the ground, bring this along. Sometimes you have to get the angle just right, and I find for stumps you need to get it right in the middle. So if you're in cab, you look at where it's got the little black logo of the tree stump in the middle, line that up where it says max, and you've got the two little hazard symbols there. Right in the middle I find is the sweet spot. But not only does it do that, if you want to clear an area, and it's not ultra realistic, but I think for speed and time you get it just right, he says. It does that. Gets rid of the tree, gets rid of the stump. So you can clear areas for placeables, for extending fields, for doing whatever, so much quicker, which is brilliant. But not just that, so you can do all of those anyway. And now on certain maps, on the Black Sheep modding maps, on Valley of the Old Farm, you could use it for removing certain hedges. On this map especially, it works brilliantly for taking out the fence posts and the hedges, which is absolutely perfect. What you can also do, if I turn that off, and I've showed this before, if you look underneath on this, if I press L1 and X, those prongs come out. Scary looking things. But this thing will also plough. So now I'm on a bit of ground that's not obviously normally a field. L1 and triangle. Allow create fields. And it's a plough. The great thing with it, unlike a lot of the other ploughs, it has no horsepower requirement. And you can plough at quite a lick with some of the vehicles you use. Like I say, for versatility, for ease of use, for clearing areas, for expanding your fields, this thing's like the Swiss Army knife. It's just, it's absolutely brilliant. Put those prongs away, like so. That is in my #1 slot. So like I say, I've got 3 from Black Sheep modding on here. I've got the Kotech fork with claws, I've got the 3 points tipper, we've got the Rayboard Xylor, and then from Toxic we've got the Universal Lightweight Bucket, and from BDBSSB we've got the Forage and Ship Silo. And like I say, people will have their own different top 5s. They may argue that there are better mods out there, there are different mods out there. The whole point was these were the ones I have found I've used a lot, I think they're brilliant. I've found them incredibly useful, incredibly versatile. They've made my life so much easier. What I'm now panicking about is that when FS19 comes along and we start off from scratch, clean slate, I'm not going to have all of these. Unless I'm incredibly lucky and some of these make it into the cut right off the bat, you end up then starting your Let's Plays and mentally you think, oh, I know what I need, I'll get, and then you suddenly think, I haven't got it. It's not on this. So there you go. From me to you, my top 5 most useful, most used mods for me personally on FS17. I hope you found this useful, informative, entertaining, however you want to take it. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Following this one, not immediately, there will be my top 5. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot. It doesn't matter. I'll do it in the next one. Actually, I won't. I'm going to do it now. The ones that didn't quite make the cut. In 6th place, I had the Krone Big Pack 12080, which was a square baler and was dirt cheap, like 12 grand, and absolutely fantastic. In 7th place, I had the Grain Storage Silo, which was another silo that came out, I think 300,000 or 400,000 litre capacity. In 8th place, I had the Slurry Trading System, which came from Holger Sengstock. Brilliant. I mean, I found doing fields, fertilising, doing fertiliser spreading and spraying all the time got a bit samey, and until you had enough from your animals, you didn't have enough to be able to do it. With the Slurry Trading System, when that came out, the shop, the storage and the sell point, it opened up the game a bit more for me. And then off the back of that came the manure sell point, the manure shop from Holger Sengstock, which did the same thing again. Those ones didn't quite make my top 5, but they were on a lot of my Let's Plays, if not, you know, if not quite all of them, they were on a lot of them. But anyway, as I say, whatever you should choose to do out of the options I gave you a couple of minutes ago. Thanks for watching.